I wouldn't say it here because they've already given me quite a few warnings. And I'm now at the point where I actually truly believe they're going to try and kill me. I understand that you get 3 strikes in this game. Strike 1 is they try and shut you up and discredit you, which I've just been through. Strike 2 is they try and put you in jail for no reason. And strike 3 is they kill you.
We're back, so let's take it up a notch and let's dive into.
When I talk about the Matrix, I'm talking about the systems which have been created by society, which are deliberately designed to enslave. In the movie, the Matrix were used for our body heat, but here in this Matrix, we're used for our efforts and our energies. And you're existing inside of a system which is deliberately rigged to make the rich richer and for the poor to stay poor.
Yeah.
I refuse to follow those rules that society has set up in the way that they control people with low self-esteem, with improper information, with branding, with marketing. I refuse to follow those rules. It's about.
But they've already convicted me of disgracing the profession and sentenced me to an indefinite period of re-education. And that's the second most serious punishment that they can levy against a profession. The first is to take away the license. The second is to undergo this retraining and to publicly announce the necessity for that, which they've already done in my case.
I had the best 3 years of my life in prison.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting for you to say that, bro, because you had millions.
I had peace, though.
Over the $30 million for one fight? Jay-Z's lying.
Hey, listen, can I tell you something? That don't mean nothing when you don't have your peace. Your stability and your balance. You don't give for you don't even want it, you want to give it to somebody else.
The common theme being picked up in all 4 expositions is control.
And before you know it, the artist is frustrated. How many artists do you hear complaining about, we don't make money off our YouTube videos. We don't make money off our streaming. The label won't let me go. I can't do this. I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, so was the label the bad guy or what?
They're not the bad guys, just a system that was created many years ago that they're not changing. I don't give a fuck about you, me, him, or the other. Michael Jackson wasn't even making dollars off of his albums.
But let's ask the question first. What is the Matrix? It is a real-life model based off a simulation on how the average human should live their life. The fundamental aspect it makes use of is perception.
Sure. Well, I call the world the Matrix very simply. If the people who've seen the movie, they will know that our body heat inside of the movie, the body heat of humans is being harvested and used. And they occupy our minds with a false reality to keep us producing body heat long enough for the machines to function. And I believe that's a perfect analogy of what happens in the world today. I believe that our labors and our intellects and our work is basically being exploited from us and extracted. And to keep our minds occupied, they purport a false reality. Perhaps it's not a computer simulation like the movie, but it's certainly computer controlled. If the social media companies and the media companies can control the information people have access to, and they'll delete an entire side of the argument for anybody who tries to talk against it, then they are creating a false reality. And people are buying into this false reality so that they can stay asleep long enough to continue to be a slave. So I think the Matrix is a perfect example of what's happening in the world today. And anybody who stands up and speaks loudly up against the Matrix, if you do it too loud, too long, sooner or later they see you as a problem, they want you to go away.
What we view, understand, and consume fundamentally grafts this into our mindsets and tells us who we should be and how we should interact, understand, and observe in modern society. The construct, as it has been labeled the Matrix, is a carefully crafted system on how men and women should operate in our day-to-day living, whether it's what we watch, what we consume, or how we think or how we should feel in every circumstance. This becomes more apparent once you reach a level of stability because as human beings, if we look into our primal nature, we always want more. Whether it's that brand new fast car, when you already have one that's already paid off. A bigger house, when the current house you already have does what it needs to do. Or that wonderful woman you would call a 10, when you already have a lady that keeps you happy. Let's be honest, we are all guilty of this.
I really don't care how much you make. Just make that money and just make sure you're supporting both of us because I'm going to do the same.
So well, no, hold on. It definitely does matter because you broke off some pretty serious relationships for the money. So we need to know the money.
No, it wasn't because of the money. It was more because I just made more and was supporting more.
Exactly. So money was a direct root of the problem.
You're right.
Where in the history of human beings have men of high standing ever been expected to be solely monogamous? See, I was listening to Shahara's out late days. This culture we have here, the monogamy, like it or not, was really done for business reasons, more or less. But if you really look at human beings who kind of settle themselves accordingly, men of means tend to have more food, more resources, more men at arms, more soldiers, more this, more that. And he has a queen, and he also has what? Concubines.
And that is what the Matrix thrives on, making us more dependent on societal cues, cultural dependency, and competition on social media, comparing our lives to others, when in actuality we should be living in our own lanes and taking charge of our own lives at our own pace. But instead, we're doing the very thing deemed normal by the system, thus reinforcing the theme, control. But what happens once you make it out of the Matrix and you decide to reveal it for what it really is? Or even worse, reveal one of its long-lost secrets that can damage its perception? Well, this happens.
The College of Psychologists, a bunch of people put in power by the government basically, is threatening to take my dad's psychology license because he's been criticizing the government.
The Matrix is attacking this stream as we speak. The Matrix is afraid. Tristan, they fired their biggest weapon at us. They looked at us and thought they have too much power, too much influence. Let's hit them with the most powerful weapon we have. Let's cancel them.
Commercial influencer Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan are arrested in Romania as part of a human trafficking probe.
And in circumstances like these, the lack of evidence is apparent and the use of media outlets is even more pronounced. Correction, media outlets with bias.
Female victims of human trafficking or whatever. Right. In this case. And the funny thing was, two of them went on Romanian TV. And there's you can find clips of this on Twitter. Yeah. Two of them went on Romanian TV complaining that they were being labeled as victims and defending Andrew. Right. It's like 2 of the 6 girls that are involved in the prosecution's case are already defending Andrew. Right. And it's like, come on. Like how much more do you need to see this as a clear clown show? And then the other thing that happened recently was Vice. I don't know if you know about this. Vice came out with a hit piece on it. Yeah. So I was there in Romania when Vice, at the event that Vice were filming it. Really? I was there in person. And I saw firsthand how well they treated the journalist who came out to interview. Everybody
They did a stream with him, right?
Yeah. So the journalist went to the house, did a stream in Andrew's studio. Then they sat him down and interviewed him in his house. But then he went to this event where Andrew put on basically a cage match. Yeah. With war room guys and professional fighters. Right. And this Vice journalist was one of the guys he stepped into the cage and fought as well. And all the guys at the event, everyone supported him, everyone cheered him on, he got a standing ovation. We wanted to show, who
the support.
This is the community that Andrew's built. Right? A bunch of guys who support each other, who look out for each other, who encourage each other to do what's best for them, to encourage each other to grow, right? And they didn't release the documentary. Yeah. So we thought, okay, this might come out within a month. And everybody on Andrew's team knew they would try and spin this somehow in a negative way, because that's what Vice does. If anyone at this point, if you think Vice is somehow fair and unbiased journalism, you are delusional. Yeah. And you can see this by looking at, having been there in person, the way they cut and stitch the clips of them interviewing Andrew together. Right. It's so obviously stitched together to make a specific narrative. Right?
How do we as people work around a system that targets people who try and escape its influence? Well, first off, don't put yourself out there in the limelight. Instead of focusing on following societal and cultural standards, create your own that you're happy to follow. Build yourself up to be the very best version of yourself, whether it's changing a small step at a time or even starting from scratch. The most important thing is taking that first step. And what we have learned as people is you don't have to follow the norms. You can follow what works for you and make sure at the end of the day that you are happy. I had fun making this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe for more content, as I'll be covering more topics going forward that interest me, as well as any that interest you guys in the comment section below. Let's master our minds. Talk next time.